Well, hello everyone, and welcome to a relatively brief video on Total War Warhammer and the starting positions for all of the factions within the game. So, on screen right now you should see the map which Creative Assembly put out today, listing all of the minor factions in the game as well as their starting positions. So, if I remember, all of the factions are also going to be in the description, so you'll get to see every single faction there. I'm also going to leave a link to the blog post in which they go into more detail about the minor factions and what kind of role they play. So one thing you can see from the map and the image is the fact that you can definitely see the different cultures that are going to be in the game. So you have the Empire factions, the Greenskins, the Dwarfs and the Vampire Counts, and all of the sub-factions and all the minor factions within that as well. You also have a couple of other cultures, probably the neutral factions, which Kislev is part of, as well with the Border Princes. And then you also have the area on the left-hand side of the map, which contains Bretonnia, Paravon, Lyonesse, Carcassonne, etc. So there's a plethora of minor factions in the game. So it's not just going to be the Dwarves, Vampire Counts, Chaos, Empire, Greenskins. They've all got very distinct minor factions in the game as well, which is quite exciting. As when Total War Warhammer was first announced, I was kind of a bit worried that there'd be a bit of a lack of diversity, where there's only going to be 4 playable factions, and 5 if you pre-order or buy the Chaos race after release. But it definitely looks like they've got a good balance of playable factions and minor factions. The Vampire Counts there's only 3 other kind of minor factions within, but that kind of makes sense, as I guess the Vampire Counts don't really, in the grand scheme of things, don't control a huge amount of territory, whereas the Empire is spread across a vast swathe of territory. I guess we can also see now that you can see all of the factions. You're going to get an idea of which factions might become available through DLC or free LC, and I'm pretty sure, well, at least I hope that Bretonnia will become playable at some point, as I'd really like to play as them. And there's just a huge amount of factions. I imagine the Border Princes would be quite a playable one. I know I've heard in interviews before that they will try and, their aim is to make any race with any race with an army book playable at some point. So there will of course be downloadable content for Total War Warhammer, and it's interesting to see. We might be able to get a bit of an idea more of now which ones, I guess, even though they are minor factions, Bretonnia for one is definitely regarded as, an actual faction in Warhammer, one that you can actually buy and play as on the tabletop. So my inkling would probably be that Bretonnia, hopefully, will be playable at some point, as I would really love to play them. That's just my own kind of personal choice, don't look too much into that. So this was a very brief video. All of the links, I'll leave a link to the blog in the description below. And just want to thank you guys for the support. We've reached 25,000 subscribers on the channel, which is a huge achievement. So thank you all for sticking with me. Thank you all for supporting and enjoying my videos. I expect lots more content coming along very soon. So until next time, everyone, I bid you a very, very good day.